everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Andrea and it's nice to have you guys here. We're starting barefaced because I thought I would do a get ready with me, particularly focusing on using the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. So I've had this palette for a few weeks now and I haven't touched it yet. I've opened it, I've looked at it, but I have not gone into any of the colors yet. When I mentioned this in my recent Sephora haul video, some of you have gotten to me saying you would like to see me use this. I asked in the video if you did, you said yes, so here we are. So I will do my base and stuff separately, but I wanted to do the eyes with you. So normally, especially if I'm doing a dramatic look or a slightly more dramatic look, I'm not sure how dramatic this will go. I'm totally winging it. But I do like to start with eyeshadow first so that if I make a mess, I can clean it up before I do my base. So I think I am going to use some tape today, just as a precaution, just in case. There are some darker, more dramatic colors in here. You can definitely do a kind of darker smoky eye, but there are also a ton of beautiful natural colors, both mattes and shimmers. So I'm just gonna place these. I always look ridiculous when I do this, but it makes a difference in the final outcome of my eye makeup. I just use medical tape, bandage tape. You can like buy the shadow shields that are specifically for this purpose, but I'm all about buying things that have multiple purposes. So I can use it to tape gauze down, or I can use it for my makeup, and it's much, much cheaper. So as you can see in the palette, you've got a lot of kind of neutral shades, a lot of mattes, as well as shimmers. I'll try to do a little bit closer. So the colors in here are just gorgeous. You've also got some brighter colors like this kind of turquoise teal and this berry color, which is great. And then you've got the black, the matte black down here, which will work perfectly as a liner. There's also kind of a matte brown, warmish brown, that would also, I think, work well as a liner. I think for today, I'm going to stick to the more natural side of the palette, although I am thinking this kind of rosy one right here, called Come and Get It, might be really nice in the crease. Although DM Me down here might also be nice in the crease, and we might use a little bit of both. I'm just going to play with these and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to start with one of the Wet n Wild brushes, and I think I'm going to use Love Language right here as my base slash transition shade. Pack that on the brush. All I have put on so far is Urban Decay Primer Potion, so I do have an eyeshadow primer on here because I knew I was going to do a more layered look. Anytime I do more than just one shadow, I will put on some kind of primer. I like that. That's going on really nicely, and that turned out to be exactly the base shade color I was hoping it would be. Not going on the eye quite as pink as it looks in the pan, but it's still roughly the shade I wanted. I wanted something just a little bit lighter than my natural eye shade or skin color. Now we're gonna do the crease. So I'm gonna start with, I think I am gonna start with the Come and Get It, which is the kind of pinky one up on the top row. And I'm just gonna do that along the top of the crease and kind of the outer corner area. I like that. Oh, I like that a lot. I was worried it was gonna be almost a little too pink. So it kind of is seeming to me, at least with these first two colors that I've chosen, that when they first go on the eyelid, they're just a little bit more muted than they seem when they're densely packed in the pan. Now, as I am building that up, it is starting to have more of the color that it has in the pan. So I'm really curious to see how the shimmers work, but I'm liking this, and I'm kind of impressed with how well it's going on in terms of the look. I normally have to really play with color in my crease and outer corner before it looks the way I think it's supposed to look. And I've generally had really good experience with Too Faced eyeshadows. I think Too Faced and Urban Decay are my favorites. I just feel like their shadows just go on the way you feel like they're supposed to. Other palettes that I have, I can't do this with my right hand, or my left hand, I don't know why I'm trying. Yeah, that's a bad idea. Let's not do that. I probably spoke a little too soon. I always feel like I jack up my left eye. I don't know if it's having to reach across and kind of twist my hand as opposed to the right side is the more natural side for me. I don't know, but okay, I think that looks good. Now I definitely want to use some of the shimmers. So there are some shimmers in here that seem like they are more of a satin finish than an actual like glittery shimmer, but none of them are a super chunky glitter. I think I want to try, they're also pretty. I'm probably just going to end up playing with a bunch of them. Let's start with Sex Drive, which is this one at the top here. Put that over kind of just below the crease area. Okay, I'm thinking the shimmers, let me get below the, oh no, maybe? Okay, yeah. So first of all, there does seem to be a slight, like you kind of need to put your brush over the palette, over each pan once to kind of get it starting to be usable. Like the first pass I've done on the shades I've used today, like nothing seems to come up. And then when I go in the second time, I get more product. But even with the second time around, the shimmers do seem like they're going to need to be built up a bit, or my less favorite, I don't like doing this, or using it with a wet brush. I don't like using it with a wet brush. But if you want that more bam look, you're gonna need to either use a wet brush or do what I do, which is just take the time to layer it up. But that is starting to look really pretty. So I'm taking that on the outer corner just up to where the crease, it kind of starts to go into the crease. So I'm not going up onto my crease, but I'm just going up to slightly overlap the edge of that crease color that I put in. And then I'm taking it kind of to the middle of the eyelid. So now I'm going to do that with this side. I don't know if that's showing up or not, but I'm liking that. So that's lid part one. And now I think I'm going to use one of the lighter shades, one of the lighter shimmers. I think I'm going to go in now with Love Spark, which is this shimmer right here. We'll see how light that is. And now I'm starting that in the inner corner and kind of working it towards the center of the lid. I think I am going to use one of the other shimmers. I think this is going to work. I can work with this. I think this would definitely be a really good inner corner shade. It is a little bit lighter, almost too light for kind of what I was wanting to do here, but I can work with that. So it's a little too much of a contrast there where it meets in the middle, which is what I was slightly afraid of, but I did want some contrast, so it's okay. So I'm going to go in with Flirty Pop, which is this one right here, and kind of put that in the middle of the lid just to blend the other two shimmers together. I don't mind a two-tone look, especially if it's a contrast, if they're kind of contrasting shades, but I don't know, for today, I want something a little bit more gradual, but also this lets me play with more colors, and I'm liking that. So that's just going over the middle of the lid to blend those other two colors together. Now I will say that I picked these shades because they all looked a little bit more pinky, kind of that like pink, blush pink, rose gold, dusty mauve in terms of the full spectrum of what I used. And they've all gone on a little bit more natural color. So I am going to have fun playing with the colors a bit to see like if the other colors do that. They seem like they're going on just a little bit more muted than how they look in the pan, but I still think it's really pretty. Let me see if you can, and I think they're coming up a little bit warmer and browner and such in the light here, because I do have warmer lighting in here, unfortunately. I need a ring light or something. Okay, now I think, I don't know that I want to put a black liner on this. So I think what I'm going to do, also because I just want to play with these colors, is use this darker brown called Spank Me. And then I think I'm going to go over that with the berry pinned down and kind of blend those two colors together. So let's see how the brown works. Okay, I think that works well as a liner, as a slightly lighter, more natural liner color. But it's building up pretty well, so I think this works well as a liner if you want something just a little bit softer than black. But I think that still works. I think you can see the difference. I think it still works as a liner. I'm gonna go in with that berry color right on top, and it's adding just a hint of color around there without being like a bright berry liner. But it's turning that brown into a little bit more of a dark purple. Okay, I like that. Now I think we can take the tape off. So there's a little bit of fallout on the tape, but surprisingly, considering the shimmers, not as much fallout on the tape as I was expecting. And then just a little bit that needs to be cleaned up under the eye. And then I'm just gonna take one of my e.l.f. contour brushes, eye contour brushes, and just soften up the edges here. Sometimes I like the harsh edge, the very defined edge, and other times, like especially for a slightly more daytime look, I just like it to be a little bit softer. So now I am going to do the rest of my base and mascara and come back and show you the finished look. So you guys have seen the rest of my base routine and stuff, so you don't need to see all of that, but I will put it on a time lapse. So base is done. I kept it really light. I'm just going to use some all-nighter setting spray, because even though the name is all-nighter, it actually gets me through a day when it is pretty warm out. It's not as warm as it usually is this time of year, but it's still warm, so definitely want a setting spray. First impressions of this palette are really good. I'm loving the look that I've created with this. I think it's really pretty, very shimmery, but still, this particular look I think still very natural, not that out of the usual for a daytime look for me, but I feel like given the way some of the darker shades that I used went on, I think you could definitely create some really beautiful nighttime looks. So far so good. I have a feeling this palette is probably going to become my primary palette for spring and summer, so I will show you other looks that I create with it. Last thing is lipstick. I've also put on my new Wisteria Blue fragrance from Nest. That is the fragrance I'm wearing today. These are other items that I got in that Sephora haul, so if you haven't seen that, you might want to go check it out. So this is the NARS Power Matte Lip Pigment in shade American Woman. This was a 100-point reward from the Reward Bazaar, so I thought this would go with the eyeshadow. Might be a little darker than I wanted to go today, but we'll see. I'll keep it on at least through lunch. I've worn this formula before in a different shade, and it is pretty long wearing, so once it sets down. I think in fall I will love this color, but it just, I kind of want it to be just a little bit lighter for spring and summer. Anyway, we'll give it a try. I hope you liked this video. If you did, do give it a thumbs up. Let me know what your current favorite eyeshadow palette is. I would love to know that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Say hi in the comments, and I will see you all soon in the next video. Thank you very much for watching this one. Bye-bye.